What is up, people? It's been a long time since I made a video. With all the things going on in the world right now, I have more free time, so I decided to make a few videos. I hope you will enjoy them. Today I will check out AMD's Ryzen 5 3400G processor and see if you can game on the integrated VEGA 11 graphics. If you are on a very tight budget and can't afford the GPU, then this CPU might be for you. Let's jump into the tech specs of the CPU. This CPU was released in July 2019, has 4 cores and 8 threads, a base clock of 3.7 GHz and a boost clock up to 4.2 GHz. Has a 65W TDP and supports dual-channel DDR4 memory. The integrated VEGA 11 graphics has 11 graphics core units, a graphics core clock of 1400 MHz, and the memory clock will depend on your RAM memory speed. It will benefit from faster memory, and you can get more performance out of it if you use faster RAM. Retails for around £140 in the UK or around $150 in the US at the time of filming this video, but you can always find some deals to get it for a slightly cheaper price. For the benchmarks, I will use an Asus Prime B450 motherboard, 16GB of 3200 MHz DDR4 memory running in dual channel, and the stock cooler what came with the CPU. Note that some B450 motherboards will need BIOS updates in order to support the CPU. Mine came with the newest BIOS, so I didn't have to do that. If you are buying the board, just make sure it has the latest BIOS on it, otherwise you will need an older CPU to update the BIOS. Let's jump into some benchmark numbers. I don't have any extra fans in the case I tested the CPU, and the room temperature was around 22°C. When gaming, the CPU never went over 70°C, and it was around 75°C when I was running Cinebench and Firestrike. The CPU fan was a bit loud time to time, but overall it was okay. I would recommend getting an aftermarket cooler if you are planning to use the integrated graphics on this CPU. I think the VEGA 11 did an okay job in games like Rocket League, League of Legends, DOTA or Fortnite. You can get reasonable and playable frame rates out of those games, mostly on low or medium settings. With more demanding games like Borderlands 3, Far Cry 5 or Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the VEGA 11 graphics is struggling, even on the lowest settings at 1080p. The resolution had to be turned down to 720p to get some playable frame rates out of the games. I would avoid playing those games, as for me the 720p resolution is just too low, not worth it, but everyone has a different opinion on that. Overall, the CPU did a decent job, and if you are building a new system on a very tight budget, then you can definitely game on this until you can afford the graphics card. On the other hand, if you have a bigger budget, then you probably wanna go with a different CPU. AMD recently announced the Ryzen 3 3100 and 3300X. And from the early benchmarks, it looks like it will be a very nice and budget-friendly CPU. The release date is in mid-May, so have to wait a few more weeks to test it. Definitely stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on the review. Thank you for watching.